And I'm coming to you live from a secure location, somewhere deep in the heart of American flyover country, an increasingly chilly flyover country, looking for some very, very cold Arctic weather over the next few days. But never fear, we will be bundled up and we will be inside, safe and sound, and ready to enjoy the last vestiges of winter. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, always under the radar, always over the top, ladies and gentlemen. Great to see you. I'm going to be doing some public events and appearing at some places here over the next few weeks and months. I'll start letting you know about those. We're going to try to start getting this word out and start trying to have some fun and seeing some of the places and doing some of the things that we've always wanted to do and maybe you want to and can't do yourself. Hello, Carol in Edmonton, Alberta, home of the Edmonton Oilers. And I'm glad to see Rocky Stucci in the room. Rocky and I, along with Scotty Roberts, had some have said a masterful talk last night on the consequential rapscallions. It was far-reaching, it was wide-ranging, and it was, I think, very, very good. So you might want to check that out as well. Lots of great stuff coming up. Now, behind me is not a castle. Behind me, what you see is Overtoun Bridge. And it's a bridge in West Dunbartonshire, Scotland. This bridge was completed in 1885. And the bridge, ladies and gentlemen, has attracted international media attention because of the number of dogs that have jumped off of this bridge. Dogs leap off of the bridge to the rocks 50 feet below. Over 600 dogs have jumped off. Over 60 of them have died, ladies and gentlemen. The bridge is called the dog suicide bridge by many. There's also been murder there. A man threw his infant child off of there. And there's even been attempted human suicide. So dog suicide, if there is such a thing, human suicide, if there is such a thing. And the bridge, it's very, very odd, ladies and gentlemen. It's very, very odd. Since the 1960s, these dogs have jumped off this bridge. And they leap and they fall to the waterfalls and the rocks below. And ladies and gentlemen, they leap from the same side of the bridge, from the same spot between, I'll double check it here in a minute. I think the first and second, what are those things called? Parapets. And they fall down. It's the craziest thing. Usually in clear weather, and usually dogs with long snouts, like German Shepherds and dogs of that nature. And what makes it even more odd, ladies and gentlemen, as I share this screen with you, and we're going to look at some more data, what makes it even more odd is that from a dog's eye view, as it were, if you're a dog and you're walking, come on, if you're a dog and you're walking down this bridge, you can't even see over the edge of it. You're a dog, you're walking down this bridge, and you don't see over the edge of it. And yet, I believe it's right back here. These dogs are between here. We'll get to the details. These dogs leap over it. Now, some of them leap up on top of these first and then still leap. And they just jump over and they jump to their death. It's the craziest thing, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Pork Chop Gang says dogs can be as depressed as humans. Yeah. But do they have the forethought and foresight to say, I'm going to wait till my owner takes me to that bridge and then I'm going to make a beeline? I don't know. It's very odd. Dwayne says, is there something paranormal happening on the bridge? Well, let's get into it a little bit. Let's discuss it. let's talk about it, and let's break down some of the anecdotal information about it. Anecdotal means, if I can get my computer to work for me again, anecdotal means that it's a story. It's a story people have told. People recommending things and talking about things. So the dog deaths, international attention. There's a canine psychologist who examined the sight, the smell, and the sound factors. And he concluded that there really is not a definitive natural answer. Dogs can't see where they're going. Dogs just jump. And he says the only possible thing would be that there is male minks that hide down there in the foliage. But nobody really knows why. Now, one thing that is interesting to note is that this place has historically been cloaked in a blanket of supernatural activity. Fairies, spirits, presences, earth energies, ghosts, and super sensitive dogs. They're picking these up at the bridge, according to the Baron of Rainbow Bridge, Overton's Death, Leaping Dog Mystery Unraveled, from the Scarlet Quill Publishing in Edinburgh, 2018. The canine deaths have prompted, as someone said, claims of paranormal activity at the bridge. The Suicide Dogs was written about by Skeptoid in 7 July 2017. What causes 600 dogs to hurt themselves off the bridge, from the Daily Express. And Scotland, 600 dogs mysteriously jump off haunted suicide bridge, International Business Times. So it has received quite a bit of international attention. Some have even said that it's a Bermuda Triangle of bridges, specifically for dogs. Now, here is an interesting account from Jenna, 20 years old, from Glasgow, Scotland, as reported by Vice.com, and their story, The Mystery of the Dog Suicide Bridge. She says, the first time I reached a certain point in the bridge, it was as if the air got thinner. And she says her stomach jumped, a bit like when you miss a step going down a flight of stairs. The second time, she said, I couldn't stop, feeling like something bad was going to happen. There was a woman with a dog at the edge of the bridge, and the dog would not take a step further. She had found out then that earlier that week, a couple of dogs had jumped to their deaths. In 1994, a 32-year-old man threw his infant son off the bridge to his death. On a clear day, and this is what I was getting to earlier, between the last two parapets of the bridge, and this poor individual claimed that his child was the Antichrist, and then the man tried to kill himself. Isn't that something, ladies and gentlemen? And by the way, he was found not guilty by reason of insanity, and he's currently a inhabitant of a psychiatric hospital in South Lancashire. It's pretty amazing, ladies and gentlemen. And get this. Many times dogs have made the jump, survived, and come back up and jumped again before their owners could get to them. And all of the dogs that have taken the jump have been long-nosed breeds like German Shepherds and Scottish Terriers. The dogs all jump from the same spot between the last two ramparts on the right-hand side of the bridge at the very end. And it has to be a clear day. Nobody can explain why. Most people, again, talk about smell. But then the question is, why this bridge when there's bridges all over Scotland with mink living between them? Why are the dogs always jumping from the same place? And if you want to talk about suicide, canine psychologist Dr. David Sands says dogs are not capable of deliberately ending their lives. Dog psychologist, canine psychologist, Dr. David Sands says dogs are not able to deliberately end their lives. Dr. Sands traveled to the bridge with a documentary crew in 2005, conducted his own investigation. The Scottish Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals have conducted their own investigation, and they stand in front of the point where the dogs jump. And he said this, and this again, ladies and gentlemen, is a psychologist, university trained, and a dog psychologist. So, I mean, not a guy that's given to flights of fancy. He said this, though. Just me as a person, forget a dog. All your senses are on fire. And it's a strange feeling. And the dog psychologist, Dr. Sands, eliminated sight. He said it's not a factor since from a dog's eye view, you can't see over the wall. He ruled out sound because there was a theory that a nearby Trident submarine base was creating a frequency only animals could hear, but it was shut down. They tested it acoustically and found nothing unusual in their test. Locals will very seldom walk their dogs over it. They avoid it completely. There's even talk about putting up a fence to keep dogs from going on that place at all. Amazing stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Amazing stuff. And the one that I like, and this makes a lot of sense to me, because again, you know, my heritage is Irish. We're not too far from Scotland. And this bridge is about an hour's drive north of the city of Glasgow. A lot of people that are of the old world and believe in the traditional things, I'm reminded of the Celtic saying that says, and I might butcher it, but I think it says heaven and earth are only 3 feet apart. And there's this place that Celtics call it the thin places, where the veil is much thinner and much narrower. Ancient pagan Celts believed in these thin places where the boundary between heaven and earth is especially ambiguous or sometimes even non-existent. The question here from omgfacts.com comes: would it be far-fetched to believe that dogs who are fabulously and famously intuitive, that dogs are attracted to these thin places, and that this bridge happens to be one of them? Perhaps they're not leaping from the bridge, but unwittingly or not, they're manifesting an attempt to get to the other side. Author Paul Owens believes the thin places do exist. He describes them at length in a book. However, he doesn't think that this bridge is one of them. But Paul Owen postulates another possible explanation. He says the spirit of Lady Overtoun, of course, her husband, built the bridge, that Lady Overtoun haunts the bridge, walks the bridge since her husband's death in 1908, and she hated dogs, ladies and gentlemen. She hated dogs. And this author recounts that one day, a summer's day, he felt a very small, strong jab, like a phantom finger, twice in his back. It was a sensation you get when you fear someone might push you over the edge of a train platform. He said it's a very strange place, and one of the things peculiar to the location is that it seems very peaceful and tranquil, but it can turn in a moment's notice. A fellow named Kevin Moy described a sinister presence and horrific events. Pardon me, Moy is the guy that threw his infant child off the bridge. Crazy, crazy place. Crazy, crazy things. Someone talks about their dog named Hendrix, a 19-year-old dog. That's an old dog that survived a leap from the bridge. And he noticed the dog tense up near where she'd had her near death experience. He concluded one of her senses was so triggered that she felt an unrestrained urge to investigate. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I have seen in my days as a Pentecostal evangelist, back before I didn't know a lot of what I know now, back before I hadn't experienced a lot of what I have experienced now, I remember that dogs would very often see spirits that other people wouldn't see. But of course, me as a Pentecostal evangelist was able to see and detect and deal with those spirits. But dogs can see into the spirit realm with much greater acuity than humans can. There's no doubt about it. What do I think? I don't know. Let's see what you think. Let's run through the chat room real quickly. Somebody's heard this story before. It looks like a real nice image. It's not a castle, it's just a bridge that looks like a castle. Because if you had to eat Scottish food, you'd jump off a bridge too. I probably shouldn't have read that one. I guess I shouldn't have read that one. What does the frequency read there? That's a great question from Amanda. Almost sounds like a dark spirit is calling them there. I heard that earlier today. Something's calling them. Maybe this lady that hated dogs, whose husband died in 1908, who said to haunt the bridge, maybe she's calling them. Or maybe there is a malevolent, malicious spirit that's calling to the dogs. And boom, they jump. I don't know. Is it a dog portal? That's a very interesting question. Very, very interesting question. You should get the rods and go check it out. I would love to go to Scotland and check it out. Absolutely. I would say there definitely is something paranormal going on the bridge. I think something's manifesting in dark thought forms. That could very well be. Anyone die in the construction of the bridge? Asked Stephen Reed. Not that I've seen in the research that I have done. Come on. Come on. Are there siren equivalents in the canine world? Now, that's a great question. That's why I love this chat room. Sirens, which cause sailors, experienced, hardened sailors, to sail their ship into rocky shoals and crash it, whom I believe probably are real beings. They weren't beautiful, they glamored, but they probably were real beings. Are there siren equivalents in the canine world? Great question. The bridge is in Scotland. The bridge, incidentally, has been cleaned. Wonder if it's built over a pagan site. Druids used to sacrifice dogs and wolves, says Wolf Weaver. And with a name like that, maybe he knows. Unexplainable mystery. Cats are pushing them off. One thing that you'll never, ever have to worry about, ladies and gentlemen, is cat suicide. I guarantee it. You're not going to see a Rooney jumping off a bridge. No siree. Get the smudging and holy wood going. That's a science experiment. Is it an energy vortex? The dogs are of both sexes. That's a good question. Don't take your dog there. Dogs do not have ability to perceive. There's nothing over the side of a bridge or even a window. Caught my dog jumping out a 2-story window by the back legs. Okay. Does the nose have something to do with it? It seems like people are saying so, Stephen Reed, because it is that type of a breed of dog. Dogs can sense a lot of stuff. Humans can't. I agree. Just going through these. Aw. Material that's not exact. It's not suicide. No. Maybe the dogs are being possessed by the rat bastard. Could be. Could be. Some say they're just going home. Could be they're seeing the Rainbow Bridge and dogs already crossed and they wanted to go over there and play with them. That makes sense. Dogs will lay down and die next to their dead dog or owner. Could it be some sort of sacrifice to the gods of this world? You can't say no. My critter wouldn't dive into harm, only curiosity. Some sort of weird frequency resonates there. Could be. Strange things. Did the man. It's in Scotland. Interesting, folks. Interesting stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. I just know it's weird, and it seems like there must be some type of a paranormal relationship, some type of paranormal occurrence going on. And I think that we should do a GoFundMe, and Rocky Stucci and I will go over there and take care of business. What do you say, Rocky? Forget about it. Let's do it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am probably going to be back tonight with a show I keep promising to put out, just haven't done it yet. A show about remaining Christian while you are waking up. This is our fourth podcast excellence today. We may come back and make number 5. If not, we will see you for sure tomorrow. Lots of good stuff. We've got, of course, still trying to get David Icke coming up. The monthly show with Rocky Stucci coming up. Shut up. It's Rocky Stucci. Monday night, The Last Stand, 9 p.m. Central Time with, wait for it, Cliff High will be with us on Monday night. So we're looking forward to that. Jay will be back from his respite, and we'll have Cliff High on Monday night. Tuesday, I'll be talking with a fellow, I believe, from Belgium at 9 a.m. Central Time, and we'll be talking about Tartaria. He's one of the experts on Tartaria, which I know nothing about, to be frank with you, ladies and gentlemen. But we'll have him on. We, of course, will have the regular consequential rapscallions. Lots of great stuff coming up. Lots of incredible stuff coming up. I've been looking at Article 5 of the U.S. Constitution. I wonder how much Scotty Roberts and Rocky Stucci know about that. I just got this book, which I think is going to take us down some crazy places. Original Sin and Ritual Child Rape and the Church. So that's going to be something we're going to be looking at. Lots of powerful stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I'll have some announcements probably tomorrow, maybe later tonight, of some personal appearances I'll be making across the country. So if you want to come out and shake a hand, buy a book, throw a rotten vegetable, just make sure you're fast if you do that, because I'm pretty quick for an old guy. But until then, I was just on Coast to Coast at Christmas time. It'll probably be more towards late spring or summer before I go back on again. I'm usually on 3 times a year. And we'll look forward to going back again on Coast to Coast AM. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Hug your dog, hug your wife, hug your children. Tell somebody that you love them, and do it now, ladies and gentlemen. Guide your own spirit, master your own ascension, be your own guru. We are the last generation of real humans. It is past time to start asking questions and questioning answers, ladies and gentlemen. Because at the end of the day, it's time for us individually and collectively, and only you can unindoctrinate yourself.